given Ricky Pearsall being healthy, that Brandon Ayuk may now be expendable in terms of, well, we'll trade Ayuk. We haven't given, 49ers haven't given him the contract yet. Especially you could see a partnership with the Pittsburgh Steelers once again trading for, Brandon Ayuk as a replacement for, at least in the short term, a Roman Wilson. So if it's just George Pickens, it makes sense that the Steelers are a trade partner here, given that their third round rookie may not be available. So Ricky Pearsall being available may make Brandon Ayuk expendable. I have been not buying into an immediate integration of Ricky Pearsall. This seems like a second half of the season type of player. If you want to be drafting him late, I don't mind that. But Ricky Pearsall right now is being drafted in the 13th round on Underdog. While he could be a value and give you some value weeks later on, the reality is, even if Brandon Ayuk gets traded, Ricky Pearsall is still behind George Kittle, still behind CMC, still behind Debo in terms of pecking order, and then has to push Juwan Jennings, frankly, out of the way. You know that Kyle Shanahan's not just going to anoint Ricky Pearsall. He has made these players, especially early round guys, he's made them earn it on the field. So that is something that we're taking note of. As we're also taking note of in San Francisco, Jordan Mason is getting a lot of love. He may outperform Elijah Mitchell this offseason. And there is a clear pathway for Jordan Mason to be the running back too. So given how late Jordan Mason is in your fantasy drafts, being drafted in around 17, 18, sometimes undrafted, given that Elijah Mitchell has been a big producer in CMC's absence in the past, we've seen some good efficiency metrics from JP Mason. And so when it comes to targeting late round running backs and who's going to be the handcuff in San Francisco, that is noteworthy that JP Mason is the running back that you want as of right now for San Francisco, based on the rumblings of the beat camp reporters. So we're going to talk about more players that you should have on your radar for fantasy, not just like, oh, these are like, are they going to make the roster bubble? But how are we approaching players in terms of their fantasy outlook? Before we get into more fantasy relevant news, a word about the Player Profiler Draft Kit.
Hey, it's the Podfather. I have great news. The Draft Kit is live. It is world famous. Why? Because it is the best resource for winning fantasy football championships that exists. There are rankings and cheat sheets for every format you can imagine. We have projections both at the team level and the player level. And wherever you are, you can click on a player, open them up, and see in-depth written analysis about what to expect in fantasy football from that player this year. And then you can click on the team and you can get even more in-depth analysis, all the drivers of fantasy production, both in a positive and negative direction for that team, including a signature trend. And the graphics are incredible. So these team insights, they give you the team level projections, the vacated targets, the vacated ARs. And we added a bunch of features. I mean, individual cheat sheets for Theo and Billy and Dario. So you could take your favorite analyst and download their personal draft cheat sheet. And then in the commissioners section, Memphis Young lays out everything you need to know to manage a league. The best minds in the industry contributing analysis. It's certainly not the most inexpensive draft kit on the market, but it is the best. PlayerProfiler.com/draft kit. PlayerProfiler.com/draft kit. Go get it.
That's right. Go get your Player Profiler Draft Kit today. And of course, my cheat sheet is on there too. So check it out. Get it. Bradley Stalder at FF Stalder on X. I have been pounding the table for months for Taysom Hill. He is a tight end in Sleeper. He is a tight end on DraftKings. He is a tight end on Drafters. And FFPC is going to be shifting him soon. If you're smart, you'll be drafting Taysom Hill in those places, because if he is tight end eligible, he's easily pathway to high-end tight end 2 with spike weeks to be a top 5 tight end. He's got the spike weeks. The interesting thing is the drumbeat hasn't stopped for Taysom Hill. And if the drumbeat hasn't stopped in New Orleans, I'm not going to stop pounding the table for Taysom Hill. Go get yourself some Taysom Hill. Literally just a couple days ago, yet again, Dennis Allen comes out and says that Taysom Hill will, quote, do a lot of stuff in 2024. He is in the tight end room. He is in the running back room. He's not taking snaps at quarterback. Look, there are 7 quarterbacks who are either taking first team reps, second team reps, or practice squad reps for the New Orleans Saints. None of them are Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is not going to be listed as a quarterback. We know the FFPC will change the position designation. So look out for Taysom Hill. Draft him with reckless abandon. We want the upside weeks from Taysom Hill. This is the pathway. Easy cheat code type of player. This is what matters for fantasy. You want a guy who can access 15, 20 point ceilings? Yes. And he's hidden. Look. I have played on FFPC this whole summer, and I just completed the Pros versus Joes draft. There are 6 leagues that have drafted so far. Dan Williamson and I are the only team to have drafted Taysom Hill. Why? Because he's technically listed as a quarterback, but if you're smart, if you are thinking ahead, he's going to be the tight end. So Dan and I drafted him knowing that he's going to be the tight end. He was a last round selection. He went undrafted in all of the other leagues. It is a clear and significant difference maker. Worst case, he might make our lineup once or twice as a quarterback. But what he definitely will do is make our lineups as a tight end. That's why you want to be drafting Taysom Hill in those formats. The Saints are telling us very clearly that they want to get Taysom Hill involved, and there aren't a lot of other playmakers on the Saints. So draft your Taysom Hill. Let's say something happens to Alvin Kamara. You think it's going to be Kendre Miller? No, he's in the doghouse with Dennis Allen. You think it's going to be a lot of Jamal Williams? Well, maybe a little bit of goal line work. But who do they like? They love his dynamism, right? They love his shiftiness. At 33 years old, there's been, even just this morning, Wednesday, July 31st. I know this is coming out on Thursday, August 1st. But Taysom Hill is still being viewed by the training staff as extremely explosive and shifty, and they're going to give him some manufactured touches. Draft Taysom Hill. The Saints are telling us to take him. We should believe him. He's extremely undervalued. In DK, you can get him in round 12, 13. Sure, great. If you want to punt the tight end position, awesome. If you want to wait around and get your late tight end, Taysom Hill has the pathway to do it for you. So yes, we want to be drafting Taysom Hill. Another under the radar player that many fantasy drafters are forgetting about, DJ Chark. DJ Chark is being drafted so late, but here's the problem with him being drafted so late. He is the starting X receiver on the Los Angeles Chargers. And we've seen spike weeks from this player before. This is not he's buried on the depth chart. He's battling for a position. No. DJ Chark is being viewed by the Chargers as the starting X receiver. Don't you want the starting X receiver for Justin Herbert? Yes, you do. It's DJ Chark. Go draft him. We know DJ Chark has it in his pedigree. He's a day 2 wide receiver who has a 1,000-yard receiving season under his belt. And he's being undrafted in some places. He's around 18 selection in some places. Go draft DJ Chark. Completely forgotten about by the fantasy community. Completely left for dead because he has some injury issues from time to time. Look, the league has been starting to implement better hamstring protocols and trainings so that these players are not suffering as many hamstring injuries. So we'll see if DJ Chark can stay healthy, but if he stays healthy and he plays the X as the starting wide receiver for the Los Angeles Chargers, which is how he is in the depth chart right now, DJ Chark, go draft him. Not just that he's getting first team reps as we're reporting on Player Profiler, but he's the starting X receiver. He's going off the board as wide receiver 83. Are you kidding me? 83. Fantasy relevant player who is completely forgotten about. Goodness gracious. So DJ Chark, we like DJ Chark. So another player that's getting a lot of first team reps is being drafted in like round 10, round 8, depends on the site, but Chase Brown. Chase Brown is taking the majority of first team reps, and this is a player that was extremely efficient, one of the best yards per route run among running backs last year for the Cincinnati Bengals. And there, look, Zach Moss is being drafted ahead of Chase Brown, about 30 picks difference. So 2.5 rounds in the Pros versus Joes drafts that we've looked at. It was about a round and a half, but that's a group of sharps, etc. Pros and Joes, very sharp Joes. Let's not kid ourselves. The FFPC crowd is very good, but the reality is that he's available outside of the top 100 picks. And if Chase Brown can get nailed down the third down role for the Cincinnati Bengals, we're talking about 50 plus receptions in line for Brown. That is very possible. 50 receptions. Joe Burrow has struggled to throw it deep. His yards per target, one of the lowest in the NFL, because he's checking down to Chase Brown. He's looking close to the line of scrimmage for Jamar Chase. T. Higgins certainly, is getting a lot of deep looks, but with the inconsistencies from T. Higgins over the last couple of years, from question marks and Andre Yoshivas and Jermaine Burton as of right now, we could be looking at Chase Brown being very, very involved, especially if Mike Gesicki is not involved. So Chase Brown taking the majority of first team reps. We're expecting him to take a big leap from year 1 to year 2. He was, a day 3 product. Chase Brown, 5th round pick out of Illinois, but great speed and burst. 92nd percentile 40-yard dash, 89th percentile speed score, 95th percentile burst score, and an 87th percentile bench press. So very, very strong back, 5'10", 209, and a player that we want to be drafting given his positive upside. Another player who's been getting a lot of positive buzz, surprisingly, is Royce Freeman. Look, believe it or not, Royce Freeman, the former 3rd round pick back in 2018, so we're talking 6 years ago, is getting praised by Stephen Jones. Now, the question is Royce Freeman going to be the starting running back? Probably not. The beat reporters have said that Rico Dowdles looked good from time to time. Ezekiel Elliott is obviously there. But for some strange reason, the Cowboys have some fear, some phobia of working with extremely talented running backs right now. Maybe they found a diamond in the rough in Rico Dowdle. We know what Royce Freeman is. Looking over the last few years, okay, this is gold. Yards per carry last year in 77 carries for Royce Freeman, 4.1. In 2022, 2.9. In 2021, 3.0. This is not an efficient running back. In fact, since 2020, since the pandemic, Royce Freeman has 2 total touchdowns. So, look, fantasy news, no. Royce Freeman, like, a lot of people will want to put, we have Dallas Cowboys running back who is getting a lot of love in the beat streets, right? No. We're just saying no to Royce Freeman. Just say no. Just say no. This is fantasy relevant advice because people will say, I'm sure you can find it on Twitter. Someone will be standing for Royce Freeman yet again. This is not 2019. This is not 2019. No. This is 2024. You need to say no to Royce Freeman. This is my fantasy advice to you. Whoever the Dallas running back is going to be, probably not on the roster right now. It's definitely not Royce Freeman. Definitely not Royce Freeman. So let's not get carried away here. All right. Whew. The Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs RB1 is very clear. It is very clearly Isaiah Pacheco. We love Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco is going in round 3, round 4. Depends on the site that you're drafting on. But typically, Isaiah Pacheco is a round 3, round 4 player. And he played extremely well last year. Got lots of touchdowns, increased his targets, increased his receptions, was clearly the bell cow back for a team, Patrick Mahomes, who was throwing it very close to the line of scrimmage. But the question has been, who is the running back 2? Who is going to step up as the handcuff to Isaiah Pacheco? Is it going to be the bowling ball of Clyde Edwards-Helaire? No. The Chiefs have made it very clear. Deneric Prince is the running back 2. Deneric Prince is the player that you want. You want to be drafting more Deneric Prince. He appeared 2 games last year, spent most of the time on the practice squad. Yes, the Chiefs brought back Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but Prince is earning all of the reps behind Isaiah Pacheco. Prince is going for free on Underdog and is worth an ad in any dynasty format. Look, this is a player that when we pull up, undrafted out of Tulsa, 95th percentile speed, 96th percentile speed score, 70th percentile burst, 63rd percentile agility score. This is a player who, yes, he didn't do much last year, but his best player profiler comp. So if you go to Deneric Prince on PlayerProfiler.com, you'll see this comp, Zamir White. And how many years did it take Zamir White to get a job? Took him back end of his second year. And now we're looking at year 3, Zamir White. Crushing. So we could be looking at Deneric Prince carving out a nice role. Remember, Jerick McKinnon, not there for the Kansas City Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco has thankfully survived his first 2 years in the NFL without major injuries. But remember, these players play the running back position, and we know that those typically get injured more often. And Isaiah Pacheco, he just runs violently. He runs with aggression. And ultimately, it's a matter of time. How long is Isaiah Pacheco going to hold on? A lot of fantasy analysts will tell you that you want to be fading Isaiah Pacheco for the fear of his injuries. I'm not saying fade Pacheco. I'm saying go and draft Deneric Prince, given his expected involvement in the Kansas City Chiefs, given the opportunity that Jerick McKinnon allowed. Jerick McKinnon's not on the team anymore. Maybe it's Kadarius Toney who takes that role, the pass catching player out of the backfield, but Deneric Prince is a player that we should be really considering given his opportunity. Like in 2022, ran for 729 yards on 126 carries, had 6 touchdowns, wasn't super involved in the passing game, but now that it takes time for Andy Reid to trust these guys right out of the gate. We've seen the rookies, it takes time for him to do that, whether it's Sky Moore, whether it is Rashee Rice, even the extremely talented players who are rookies. Patrick Mahomes didn't play until the last week of the season, his rookie year. So it takes time for Andy Reid to trust these young players and get them integrated in the system and get them the opportunity. So Deneric Prince may be looking at more opportunity. All right. The last player I want to put on your radar, Jalen McMillan. Baker Mayfield came out and called him a stud. And look, his Underdog ADP, 186th. we know Trey Palmer's a dog. We love Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer, is a big, fast, deep threat. But Trey Palmer is not as good at football as Jalen McMillan. Jalen McMillan is very, very good. He's a more polished route runner. He is more fluid throughout the field. Jalen McMillan can win everywhere. But the speed for Trey Palmer will probably keep Palmer in the rotation of wide receiver 3-4 on the outside. But McMillan, he can be the slot receiver, or he can move on the outside. He can rotate with Chris Godwin. So we want to be in on Jalen McMillan. You get videos on the daily of him just crushing at camp. There's been nothing but positivity for this former third-round pick out of Washington. And his best player profiler comp, Jalen McMillan's best player profiler comp, Nelson Agholor. Now, imagine Nelson Agholor, but with better hands. Right, that was kind of the downfall for Agholor, but the speed for McMillan is there. So you have to like the opportunity that McMillan's going to be given the positive buzz that Todd Bowles has been putting forth. And I don't think Trey Palmer has a stranglehold on that wide receiver 3 behind Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Both are older wide receivers, more veteran wide receivers. Thankfully, they've stayed healthy, but if any one of them goes down, you could look at Jalen McMillan stepping into, like a top 36 flex type of wide receiver fantasy role when it comes to your drafts. So yes, he's being drafted super late, but the pathway for Jalen McMillan to be the wide receiver 3 is very clear. He's got the draft capital, got the positive buzz. There's a lot of people loving on him. So go draft yourself some Jalen McMillan. All right, if you like the content, you found this helpful, smash the Player Profiler News YouTube channel. Smash subscribe, smash it. You love it. We love it here at Player Profiler News. We're over 600 subs here at Player Profiler News. And check out playerprofiler.com/news. My name is Bradley Stalder at FFStalder on X. Until next time, everyone, good luck in the fantasy football streets.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.